As a new player of Rush Royale, you guys need to know the 5 most important things as a new player. And to do that, to know what the most important things are, I brought on an expert. Garrett with Game by the Beach is here. What's going on, my man? How you doing today?
What's up, dude? Doing well. Just, hanging out, having the morning coffee. Couldn't be better.
I love that invisible cup you've got there, bro.
Green screen cup. Got to do it.
So what are you having right now, man? Is it just standard coffee? You got something special in there?
Just the black coffee, man. Just get that kick right in the morning. That's how to start it off.
Right on, bro. Well, how does it feel when I preface you being an expert? Do you feel like excited or nervous or
You know
nothing?
what? I feel like at this point I should be an expert. I've been playing this game essentially since it came out. However, if you talk to some of the other people in the Rush Royale community, they might argue with you a little bit there. I think I know how most game mechanics work, but in terms of trophies, in terms of how far you get on the ladder, there's definitely people superior to me in that regard. So
Sure, but do they have a YouTube channel like you? Do
some
they
of
have do they have the
them,
swagger like
the
you?
sweat, the coffee, the hat. I mean, I don't know,
I don't
man. Yeah,
know.
you got a
Yeah.
good point there. You got a good point.
Think you got the gold crown on that one. So that's why you're here, bro. I whenever I don't know what I'm talking about 100%, I like to bring on the experts and people that know better. So thank you for joining us on the channel in this video. And I'll be playing a co-op or something that I've filmed in the background while we go. So let's get right into it. Are you ready? It's just Q&A type stuff, but I feel like the information we're about to spit out is going to be invaluable.
Ready.
Okay, cool. So question number one. This is the number one question that I think that anybody's going to ask is, what is the best beginner deck that somebody could get within a week of playing?
So when I get this question a lot, and I don't think it's as much a specific deck that you play, but a specific build. So the way you do this and compete at lower level trophies is you want to have one damage unit. Okay, it can be whatever you got. Could be engineer, could be wind archer, whatever the heck you have. You have one damage unit and you basically build a deck around that unit. So then you have one slow, maybe bombardier, cold mage. You have another unit in there that adds to the damage. So maybe, a grindstone or a chemist or something like that. And then usually I like to have something that produces mana. So you could either have a priestess in there, you could do a priestess mime combination or a vampire in there. And then the last card I would recommend is something with some sort of aggro ability. So again, maybe that's mime, maybe that's portal keeper. So you can kind of move things around. And that way you have a deck kind of built around that damage unit rather than having 3 damage units in your deck to start off, which I think a lot of people do. Which isn't really going to benefit you. It's better to just have the one, maybe the 2, and then have a deck built to aid them along the way.
Gotcha. That's funny because I remember when I first started, I would look at the stats. I'd be like, which one has the highest DPS?
Yep.
And just throw all 5 of those in there. And it's like, it's the concept of, 1 plus 1 is 2, right? And then 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, right? But 1 times 1 is still 1. Let's ignore that part. 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 4 is 16, right?
I mean, I'm bad at math. So
there's an acceleration curve there, So whenever you're just throwing out just damage, you're only going to do so much. You're only going to go so far. But if you add things that slow stuff down and reduce the defense, like you mentioned, chemist, you end up with such a higher potential for your attack, which is awesome. My beginning deck was Crystalmancer. You didn't mention Crystalmancer.
That's a great one too.
Crystalmancer, and I actually had Ivy in there, and I still have Ivy. Ivy's
still really strong, but it's
Ivy's
important
legit.
to kind of know to build with those specific cards because, like the advice I gave you with Crystalmancer is if you have more Crystalmancers, you do more damage. It stacks more than other cards, so you could have Crystalmancer and Plague Doctor and whatever, Ivy and a bunch of other these cards, but they're not actually helping you to the extent that added Crystalmancers would. So,
right. And notice, guys, all the cards we've mentioned so far were non-legendary. So you can get those again within a week. All of them. I think I had all the non-legendaries in a week.
Yep.
So it can be done, and it's very easy and free. I didn't pay a single dollar to get to that point. So
And they're good even later on. Ivy's still strong. Bombardier, I use it in half of my decks. So it's good.
Awesome. Well, I think that really demystifies the beginning game. Just kind of a side note, it's not on my notes here, but you had mentioned that the most worthless card was Archer, right?
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah,
It's one of the most basic cards, and I've gone through phases at different times trying to buff it crazy amounts and see if I can get that attack speed worth it. But yeah, a damage card at common level seems to struggle kind of no matter what, and it's just never going to output enough damage, which is unfortunate. Maybe they'll add a buff or some sort of talent that'll make it insane, and I'd love it. I'd welcome it, but as of right now, I don't think I've played it in a year, and I'm not planning on it.
No. So tip, you guys, cards to avoid and cards to pay attention to. Okay, so question number 2, and this is all kind of like, what is the best XYZ? So it kind of all follows the same trend. What is the best way to spend your gold? Because you can buy cards, you can upgrade cards, you can deal with heroes, equipment, etc. So like, what would you recommend on a daily basis, how to spend your gold?
So that's a really good question, and there's a couple different pieces that I would think about. So for starters, legendaries sometimes pop up in the shop, and they're always going to be 40,000 gold. So I would recommend that you always keep 40,000 gold on hand, because you don't want to run into the problem to where a legendary pops up in the shop. Maybe it's even the one that you've been looking for, and you don't have enough gold, and it's really, really hard to get. You don't want to be in that situation. But if you have tons of gold, you're looking on what to spend it, I would recommend just upgrading your cards. So upgrading your cards not only goes, from level 1, level 2, level 3, everyone's like, yeah, upgrade your cards. That's a silly little thing, right? But it also increases your crit, and crit is super, super important in this game. It just makes you hit even harder. So if you're leveling up cards that even you don't use, you could be leveling up my Archer. My Archer is a level 11 or 12 or something like that. And I did that not because I was going to use my Archer, but because it increases my crit, and that'll help you push on the ladder.
Gotcha. So whenever I first started playing, I watched a video. Don't even know who it was. It wasn't you. They recommended buying every deal in the shop, every gold deal in the shop. And I did that for a little while, and it definitely helps. But then I ended up with so many cards and not enough gold because I kept buying those deals. Yep. I couldn't upgrade stuff. So there's got to be, you're saying rely more on the upgrading side and less on the buying side.
So I actually, I'm always on the side of saving. I don't go out of my way to buy a bunch of stuff, and maybe to a fault, because I usually end up having like 200,000 gold and I'm not spending it. And then people are yelling at me like, hey, use your gold, use your gems. I'll be streaming. I got 2,500 gems on hand right now, and I just haven't used them because I'm just waiting for something cool to happen. So in the shop, I typically only buy things that I would want in the shop. I do still utilize it pretty often, but I definitely don't buy everything in the shop every single time, because like I said, you run out of mana. And maybe you could do that as long as you always have 40,000 gold. Maybe that's that in between, and that could work out pretty well.
So what about the buying, what is it called, crafting equipment and stuff like that, if you have enough fragments?
For the equipment is also super important, and something that's relatively new to the game. And my recommendation is don't upgrade those at all. Okay. I don't upgrade those at all, because level 1s, you want to get 4 level 1s of the same equipment, and then you forge it and it turns into it goes from a common. So 4 commons, it turns into a rare, and then 4 of those rares turns into an epic, and so on and so forth. And it takes a long time. So I only have, I think, 3 epic equipments, which I'm very happy about. But if you level up your common equipment and then you forge it, it's going to go right back to level 1, even though it's, you leveled it up to level 5 or whatever. So my recommendation is don't upgrade your common or rare equipment. When you get an epic, go ahead. I've been upgrading my epics because it's going to be a very, very long time before I get a legendary, if I ever get a legendary equipment. So that's what I would do. Don't waste your money on common and rare equipment upgrades, but when you get to epic, go at it.
Gotcha. But that's the only way to use the fragments, right? Is to craft stuff. So if you have the
That
fragments,
is
go ahead and craft.
right.
Okay. That was something I didn't, I struggle with that stuff. I want to save everything until I understand 100% what I can do with it and then
Right.
pick the best thing to do with it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. The
So
common and the rares, just you might as well just, if you get 4 of them, just craft them, because the epic and then the legendary is going to be far more beneficial than having the commons. They don't do anything. So
gotcha. Awesome, man. So thank you for that. I actually just learned a bunch of stuff, so I'm very grateful.
yeah, that's what this is for you, not for your viewers. I
No,
know.
yeah, exactly. It's all about helping me learn so I can.
Not even recording right now.
Oh yeah, dang it, I forgot. No, I'm just kidding. All right, number 3. What is the best way to spend your gems?
So again, yeah, I save my gems. I like to save them for kind of different deals that pop up throughout the game. You know, whether it's a holiday that they put out or a new card or a new whatever. But probably the best way to spend your gems is on chests in the shop. And there's two different chests that I would recommend. And the first is the $9.99 chest, which 999 gems, which is a lot, man. I could only get 3 of those and you're out. But those are the ones that get you legendaries. I think, I could be wrong, but I think it always gives you 2 and you have a choice. So it'll give you 2 commons, 2 rares, and you can always choose. And at the end, 2 legendaries, and you can choose one. That might be the Archmage chest, if I'm not mistaken. But then the other chest I would recommend is the Heroes chest. I think it's the Epic Heroes chest. Which doesn't give you unit cards, but it gives you hero shards, which somehow rhymes. And those are really beneficial because it not only gives you hero shards to upgrade your hero, but it also gives you equipment that you can continue to forge and get higher tiered equipment. So that's how I would use your gems. I'm going to be doing that shortly, probably today, actually, trying to get some different stuff. And if you can get a higher leveled hero, for instance, a gadget, a trickster, every 5th level, it gets an extra boost, and it's really, it makes a big difference. So that's how I would recommend using your gems.
I've seen you favor Snowflake as an epic hero. Is that your favorite hero?
It is right now, but it really depends on the hero levels. So I've got 2 epic heroes. One is Gadget, one is Snowflake. And for Snowflake, it pauses your units, it slows them, and it does damage. Mine's a level 3. My Gadget's only level 1. So if I'm going to use Gadget, since it's kind of a low level, I only get 1 boost from it. It just increases the attack from those tiles, right? And then eventually when your whole board is full of those tiles, then you have an active ability that drops stuff. But if you get that Gadget to level 5, if I get that Gadget to level 5, it's never coming out of my deck, right? So, and Snowflake at level like 10, 15, it starts freezing your opponent's units. It's really, really great. But I feel like the Snowflake that I have right now is just kind of the best bang for your buck, because it does do that slow, it does do that damage. You can get to it very quickly. You can use it almost 2x, 3 times a wave. So that's why I use that. It's almost like Trainer plus J, and it does more damage. So yeah.
Gotcha. And that's your epic preference, but I'm assuming with the rare preference, you'd aim for, you mentioned Trickster.
So for rare, and that's kind of a nice thing when they added in heroes, you can kind of really shape your deck completely around what you're trying to do. So for Trickster, it depends on what deck you're playing. For instance, one of our favorite decks, one of my least favorite decks, is the Shaman deck, right? You've had some success with the Shaman deck.
A little bit.
But the way that Shaman is built up is you have no plans on going past wave 2, right? You're trying to mess them up so much that they just can't do anything, and you win early game. So there's no reason for you to run, say, Gadget and increase your attack damage or any type of attack benefit, because you're not looking to do damage. So that's where Trickster would be really useful, because you're not worried about slow, you're not worried about damage. Trickster is just giving you more mana, so you could be more annoying with shamans and demonologists or whatever. So that's where that would be really useful. And then, for instance, if you're using a high damage deck and you want to, and you don't have Gadget, Trainer is really, really good, because when you drop your Trainer, depending on the level, it increases your attack speed when it's dropped, and it also explodes, doing damage to those units when it's dropped. And then just to add in the other one, there's a couple other ones that are, crazy, but another one that you guys would probably have by now is J, which you right now run a double slow deck, right? Somewhat. Which J is really, really useful because when you drop those arrows, it does damage and it slows them down a lot. So it goes from almost a double slow deck to a triple slow deck, which used to be one of the best decks in the game, that Bombardier, Frost, Hex, J. The games would go on for half an hour and it would just go forever, but it worked really well. So it's kind of feeling out what type of deck you're using and then what hero works best.
And also, especially at the beginning stages, just working with what cards you have. Because, like, for instance, my first legendary was Frost. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do a
and
slow
most
deck.
People are going to be in that same boat. I mean, I think Frost was my second legendary and I started a year ago, you know, so that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, so that's focusing primarily on legendaries and hero stuff with your gems. Yep. That's kind of like the cliff notes of that section.
And you get a lot of stuff out of those chests. You do. So
awesome. Question number 4. And this is a good one too, because I still haven't figured this out. If a beginner wanted to spend a little bit of money on the game, what would give them the best bang for their buck?
Best bang for their buck. Well, I think an easy answer would be buy that premium pass, right? Because if you're playing a lot, you're new to the game, as you're pushing up the ladder or just playing a lot, you're going to continue getting those pass rewards. And if you're buying the premium pass, you're getting double the rewards, but not only just double, you're getting much better rewards as well. You're getting extra legendaries, you're getting extra faction cores, extra equipment, things like that. That's really, really useful. It's only $10, but it is a month. So I think that would be the best. And I wouldn't confuse that with the Tavern premium pass, because that's exactly the same thing, but just different types of rewards. I honestly don't think I've ever bought the Hero Tavern pass, but I think it's just the same thing as the premium pass, but slightly different rewards. It's another $10 if you want to do that, sure. But I will say one of the best things you can do is take advantages of some of those specific, well, I don't even know what it's called, specific rewards, whatever, offers. That's the word I'm looking for. Because when I first started out, it took me forever to get certain cards. Right now, I still don't have Bruiser. I don't think it's all that good. So I'm not going to, if it pops up and it's like, get Bruiser now for $20, I'd be like, whatever. But Inquisitor, for instance, they sometimes have offers for Inquisitor. I outright bought Inquisitor for $50 a year ago. And maybe one of the best decisions I've made in the game, because now I'm getting Inquisitors left and right. Now it's my highest legendary. It's definitely by far my most used card. So if you do see those offers for one of those legendaries, and you get a bunch of stuff with that offer, but it's a good card, like if you see Trapper as an offer, you won't. But for instance, if you saw Trapper as an offer for $50, hold on to that money. I mean, put it in the bank. You don't want Trapper, right? But if you see one for Robot, Blade Dancer, Harlequin, one of those cards, and you got a little extra cash on hand, you won't be mad when you start playing with it and gain 500 trophies just because you got an extra card. So I think those two things would be the best way to spend your money.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, so I know a lot of people, especially on my channel, and I think your channel too, are primarily free to play players, but there's also a community that they see the value. They're like, dude, I spent 20 hours a week on this game. I mean, right. That's some entertainment value. I'm willing to invest a little bit of money into that and Definitely. See the benefits like you just mentioned. And that's actually how I ended up with Inquisitor. Check this out. When the shop pulled up Inquisitor for 40,000 gold. At the same time, I had an Inquisitor offer for $50. Right. And in that, it came with 37,000 gold. And I had like 2,900 at the time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, all I got to do is buy this, do one match, and then I'm golden. I've got 2 Inquisitors.
There you go.
So that's what I did. I bought it.
Then you're well on your way to a level 8, and that matters. It helps. You're probably not there yet, right? You need an extra one, I think. Yeah.
I needed an extra one, yeah. But yeah,
so that's to be how you get a level 8. That used to be, but not anymore.
Dang it. Awesome. So yeah, the premium pass, I've bought that, and it's very, very helpful. I think I've invested a total of like $60, $80, something like that into the game. Yep. Which again, if you were to go to the movie theaters many times, as many hours as I've played this game, it would be a heck of a lot more. So I think it was definitely worth it. And I've
And if
gotten
you
better
do,
because of that, you know?
if you do buy the premium pass, I would just say ensure that you get to that 103 chest, because those last two rewards are the best rewards. So if you're going to buy the premium pass, don't cap out at like 80 because you're not getting your money's worth. Make sure, and you can get to 103 and then buy the premium pass. It'll unlock everything, and then you just do a big pack opening for yourself, and that'd be a bit of fun. But yeah,
That'd make for a fun video.
I've done it many times.
Awesome. Cool. So question number 5, and then we do actually, I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, but we do have a bonus question because I didn't mention there's 5, but I've actually got 6. So
bonus question, love it.
Yeah, but it's totally, you'll run with it. It's gonna be great. So number 5, in gameplay. So we're getting a little bit more specific now with how to play. And I don't want to get into meta stuff because you never know how things will change. So It's more generic. In gameplay, do you merge your units first? Do you use your mana upgrades first, or some sort of combination?
The answer would be, it depends on what boss is coming next. Okay, so this, and this could be in a whole nother video if you wanted to do one. Depending on what that first boss is depending on what I'm going to make my first move. Because let's give an example. If Tribunal's coming up, right? I don't want to, it takes away your units, right? I don't want to have a full board because then you're going to lose all your units. The way I play, I typically like to have as many units on my board as possible, because then I've got all the spots filled and I can kind of merge to where I want them to be. So I got a rank 2 in the middle or whatever. But yeah, if it's Tribunal, you know, I would say get 4 units on your board. If that's enough for you to survive, you know, maybe do a couple of mana upgrades and then do nothing for the whole time. But it's kind of understanding what situation you're in. And it's also kind of who you're playing against, because if I'm playing Tribunal, here's a combination that you hate to see, and I'm playing against the Shaman deck, you can't play 4 units and hang out because they're coming after you.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of fill your board, and it's kind of a, you know, cat and mouse game right there. But it really is kind of understanding the situation you're in, and then kind of going from there. But I will say this, if we take everything out of it, your specific question, I typically like to make my board look a little bit better, whether it's putting things next to each other that are helping each other, or, you know, getting a rank 2 support unit, you know, Chemist, Bombardier, and having, you know, 4 Crystal Mancers or whatever, and a couple of them are higher tiered. And I'm like, all right, this board looks good. Once I do that, you know, I kept my mana level ups the same. Then I'll do those a little bit as I go. But I probably don't max out my mana level until maybe wave 2, wave 3. I try to focus a little bit more on my board first, and then kind of go from there.
Gotcha. I'm glad that you went into that, because I was going to say, okay, let's say we have Tamer. Okay, so I do get it, some sort of answer for
Tamer,
everybody.
fill your board, do whatever you want. It's the best. Love Tamer.
Tamer's the best. So the way I generally go about it is I'll set up my board just like kind of like you said, and generally by the time I've got my board set up, it costs anywhere between 100 and 200 mana to spawn new. Yep. And then I'll try to do all the mana upgrades that I need to do past 200. That way I'm like, okay, I'm done with mana. Each one's 400. I can get a new unit for 160. Let's get some new units.
That's a good way to do it, actually. That's a smart way to do it, because and you can keep doing that, because eventually buying a unit's going to cost 600, you know, so then you're like, all right, I might as well just max them out and then buy a unit. Yeah, that's a really good way to do it too.
Good deal. That's something I really struggled with when I first started, because I would watch how other people were playing and be like, I don't understand. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. Of course, there are new players; they don't know anything either.
Right,
but,
of course.
Yeah. It was very important to me that I got that part right. And I would watch channels like yours and everything. And of course, when you're watching high level content, it's hard to translate it to lower level content.
Sure.
But it still worked out. But thank you again for the answer.
Yeah, and it helps to know that a lot of the moves I'm making are because of the boss. So even if I'm playing 300 trophies ahead of you, you can still play against that boss, maybe not the opponent, ignore the opponent, but playing against that boss that's coming up. Okay, it's Tribunal and he did this. Oh, it's Bedlam. He made sure that his board looked this way. Mm-hmm. You can kind of translate that a little bit more, but yeah.
You're right. We're going to need another video.
That's what I'm saying. I did one like a long time ago, but it needs a new Needs a new shine to it, I think.
Nice and fresh. All right, guys, that was 5 questions. Don't go anywhere because we got one bonus question. And like I told him at the beginning and before we filmed and just now, it's very generic and he's just going to run with it. So it's going to be awesome. Question number 6. How do you get a good clan in Rush Royale?
Oh, wow. A good clan. So being in a clan is very, very important, okay? Because if you're playing dungeons, you get a massive boost in rewards when playing with a partner from your clan. And you get rewards from playing in war and things like that. But the best thing you can do is grind those trophies, try to get up to 5,000 crit, try to get up to 6,000 crit, and then come and try and join the beach. That's what you got to do, all right? You try to come by the Discord, fill out an application. No, yeah, there's a lot of top clans out there, and there's actually positives and negatives to being in a top clan, because if you're in a lower level clan, you're going to be playing against lower level opponents in war as well. So you have a better chance of getting first in that war, where you're going to get the same rewards getting first as a top 3 clan going up against the top 1 clan, right? If that top 1 clan gets gold or gets first, you're getting the same rewards as them, right? But if you're top 3 and you're going up against number 1, you're probably not getting first. You're getting that 3rd place reward. You're going to get far better rewards than them, even though they're playing at a much higher level. So my recommendation is absolutely join a clan as soon as you can. I think you're going to be making a clan at some point, maybe not. If you don't, I mean, there's so many out there at this point. And if you're able to get into a content creators clan, I think those are typically the best. And a lot of people have feeder clans and things like that. I think I have, I've got 3 main clans and maybe like 2 affiliate clans. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely check those out, but definitely recommend getting in a clan because you'll just see the benefits right away. And you get, if you're always playing dungeons with randoms, it can be kind of tough. So at least you can be in a chat and be like, hey, I want to play support, help me beat this level, right? And then somebody in your clan can be like, hey, I want to play and run with it.
Absolutely. So the problem with, like, say you've passed 10,000 subscribers over the past week or so.
Yep.
So that's 10,000 people who have subscribed to you. But if you have 4 clans, that's only 200. So right. I would struggle to say, hey, join my clan as the answer to how to find a good clan. And that's why I'm glad
come on by, just join it up. We'll start another one. No, yeah,
that's right. What I'm saying. Like so if we had a network of leadership and we could have 50 clans, that'd be sweet, but it takes a long time to build that stuff. So other content creators, I recommend, and this is what I did when I first started, because I didn't know any other, I just joined a clan, one that had a lot of members. And although I'm much happier in Beach Brawlers with you, with your team, that was a good clan to be in because it just had people, more experienced people. So I'd recommend, like you said, just join a clan, enjoy the social aspect of it, and then get into it. And then eventually you might could apply for a higher level clan if you're interested in that, or a content creator clan or whatever, or start your own, whatever. You asked me if I'm going to start my own clan. I haven't had a lot of experience with the leadership side of it, so I'd be afraid to start a clan without knowing anything. That's why I'm happy to be in Beach Brawlers and representing.
They do a lot down there, so it's good to kind of take a step back. There's a lot that goes into the clan wars strategy and different decks, and yeah,
absolutely. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at here for now. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. Do you have any more thoughts, things we didn't cover, tips and tricks before we close up?
I would just say, if you guys haven't tried out the game yet, give it a go. Worst thing you can do is try out the game and hate it and never play it again. So be it, right? But I've played a number of different mobile games, and when I found Rush, I was instantly hooked, just like you were. So it's definitely fun. It's a great little community, and and use my creator code, his creator code, if you guys are brand new to the game, and throw that in there. Get started on the right foot.
Absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it, guys. If you have any questions that we didn't answer, please post them down below in the comments. We may have to do a Q&A part 2. I literally woke up this morning, had some coffee, and wrote down the questions. So probably did miss some stuff. Barely made it, but yeah. So if you guys have any questions, also definitely check out Garrett's Discord server. I'm going to put a link for that and your channel down below in the description, Garrett. So go check out his channel. You'll learn a lot. His Discord server has primarily Rush brilliance going on in there. You can join my Discord server, but there's nothing there for Rush. There's just there for other stuff,
for hangouts. It's good.
Yeah, just chill, just hang out. It's a good place to be. And yeah, Garrett, thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. And until next time, my friend.
Thanks for having me, dude.
We'll talk to you guys again next time.